Fire away. Is it on?
You guys on?
Yep. Sorry. Hey, Coach. Look, I hate to put you in a bad spot and ask about officiating, but pretty lopsided fouls and free throw attempts. But just kind of curious your thoughts on how the game was called.
I don't. You guys know I'm willing to face the fire all the time. I don't dodge them, but I'm not gonna get into the officiating. I haven't watched the tape. And I don't. I was frustrated because everybody knows that I got a technical in the last game, and I will tell you, I was more frustrated after watching the tape than I was during the game. In the Houston game, I'm gonna show some patience here, and I'm just going to wait to watch the tape.
Again, no moral victories, but you have to be proud of the way the guys continue to fight and continue to, especially on short rest, only one day between games, you got a bus ride you have to deal with. You have to be proud of your team's effort.
I am. We have put ourselves second-ranked team in the league. Put yourself. That's an NCAA tournament team, and you put yourself in position with a multi-possession lead late in the game on the road, in a hostile environment. Put yourself in position to win a game. That should be recognized. Fight and perseverance. I think that's the standard that comes with putting that jersey on. Like, I don't want to sit here and act like it's not. It's expected, but that doesn't mean that every young person understands that. And these guys have done a nice job of continuing to fight and through a really, really frustrating stretch.
You had
Wes fouled out with, 8 minutes to play on a questionable call, but whatever. With his absence, how much did that change the game down the stretch?
Significantly. You see like one thing we've had all year is just with him is significant rim presence. Maybe the best rim presence in this league. So and then Hayden as well. And, Hayden, I don't know, you guys know this, Hayden's been sick for 48 hours and throwing up and wasn't even allowed to be around the team since the end of the Houston game until shoot around today. So, you got Dual in foul trouble. Dual also sprained his ankle. And guys, I am not into excuses. Like, there's great teams in college basketball right now that are dealing with the same thing and they're figuring out ways to still be great. So, like, please don't ever let it look like I'm making freaking excuses. I am not. Like, you got to figure out how to overcome this stuff. But if we're talking X and O's and, talking the way it looks out there, Dual's sprained his ankle again in the Houston game, swelled up on him, didn't really practice yesterday. Hayden's throwing up for the last 48 hours and finally got some food to stay down at pregame meal today. So you're kind of without those two guys at the rim, and you see it's a little bit different. But I think Odie and Vic, young players, get these extended minutes. There were some nice things they both did. And then there's some moments defensively that I think they can really learn from. It's gonna hurt to watch some of those things on tape, but there's some things that we're gonna be able to learn from, and you hope that experience helps you down the road.
But you've had some games where, you felt like you had good practices coming in and then maybe the team didn't perform well during the game. How did you feel about this one? Did you think you guys were play as well as you did tonight coming into it?
I did. I haven't – there's been a handful of nights this year I've been really frustrated with, like, effort and focus. Well, focus, probably we got a long way to go. But with effort, there's only been a handful of nights. And guys, my standard is that you never have a night you're frustrated with that. But for the most part, this team gives effort. Now, there's levels to effort now. There's good effort, but then there's elite effort, and we're still learning how to do that. It's not for lack of want to. So I thought we'd come out and play hard. I thought we'd come out and fight. Again, I think it's important to recognize they're doing that, but we're supposed to be doing that. And they did that again tonight. That's something that I'm willing to praise and recognize. I did that in the locker room. And then there's things that happen down the stretch in the game. And you got a double possession lead late in the game on the road and turnover out front. missed rebounds, around the basket, missed rotations, direct drives, loose balls, missed free throw rebounds. I mean, it's like one thing after the other. And that's what you got to be able to win those possessions and make those plays to win tough games on the road. I think the most frustrating part for everybody in our program right now is we've done that at times this year. And so to not do it tonight, I think we're all hurting pretty good because of that. And I assure you I am as well.
Any update on John Newman III?
Sprained his ankle. Same one we've been dealing with all year. I know he couldn't come back in the game. Said he got it really good. So we'll probably know more. I think Bob Mangine's about as good as I've ever seen. And we put his ability to the test this year. And so we got a week, and we'll try to get him back healthy and get ready for the conference tournament.
Coach, was there anything different that they were doing in the second half? Your ball screen offense just seemed like kind of was working really well, doing a lot of that in the first 20 minutes, and it just kind of fell off a cliff in the final 15.
Yeah, there was no they went smaller. They've been doing that recently. We saw that in the scouting. They play Marcus Weathers at the 5. We played them the first time. He was playing most of his minutes at the 4. So they get smaller and quicker. And I didn't really change coverage or what they were trying to do, but that I don't know how much that had an effect on us and making the right play and doing the right things. But that was probably the biggest difference between one half to the other in terms of what they were doing. Other than that, no, I don't know.
Coach, you held them 34% from the field, 29% from the line. I realized a lot of free throws and they shot it pretty well, but outside of fouls, did it feel like the defense was maybe getting back closer to where you guys were earlier in the year?
Yes and no. I think just in the last 3 games, I think the effort and the intent to want to guard's been okay. I use the word okay because it's not what it needs to be. But it's been okay. They're trying. We did hit a lot of our defensive metrics tonight, but 33 for 40 from the free throw line is the elephant in the room, and some of that is defensive discipline, and it reminds me a lot of our game at Temple, where you just we just couldn't keep our discipline around the basket. And, again, some of those plays may be tough, bang, bang calls. So we'll see what the tape looks like there. But there were a lot of moments that we lost discipline trying to finish a play or get a box out, and that put them on the line.
We have one more question.
Coach, 31 points off your bench tonight. Offensively, does it feel like those guys are, starting to find their rhythm and find how they can contribute and help get some points on the board?
We got a lot of young players, it doesn't mean they're young in age, but just young in experience at this level of basketball. And, Victor Locken and Mason Madsen, Jared Hensley, Mike Saunders, those guys. And Mike's been getting those extended minutes all year, but those other guys got extended minutes tonight. And I think there was some really, really good moments for all of them. And I think there'll be some moments that they can learn from, but that's how you get better as a young player. You get out there and get thrown into the fire in a tough game on the road and get extended minutes, and you do some things that should give you some confidence, and then you do a couple of things you need to learn from. And I think that's the way we'll approach it with all 3 of them.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.